Greetings, welcome back to my director's commentary. This is episode 8 of my 2014 survival roleplay Minecraft series. There is not a whole lot for me to say about this episode, honestly, so this portion will be pretty quick. The Cousteau, or the pirate, has just come out of the cloning chamber. He cordoned off the area immediately around himself so that he would be protected from mobs. And basically now he needs to get to his ship. And this is one of the parts that I dislike the most about this series. I just have a pretty long trek through the wilderness. For a good portion of it I had F3 turned on because I wanted to make it seem like the clone or the Cousteau had some sort of, with his his encrypted memory, maybe some sort of bionic. I didn't really talk about it too much. I just had it on because I knew exactly where the coordinates were I was headed, and I wanted to make sure that he made it there in one piece. And as I was moving along, I actually really did think to myself, oh, you know what, he probably should have some diamond gear in order to break through the dome. And so I decided that I would go ahead and do some mining. And the other reason that I did that was because I thought at this point in the series, I had started to get away from the survival feel of the first couple episodes, and I wanted to kind of get that back because I did intend that to be throughout the series. And so I ended up digging, I went caving looking for diamond. And the interesting thing here at the end of the cave, or near the end of this portion, I literally was pretty far underground, and I was just randomly going through caves, and all of a sudden I see my favorite, out of character, my favorite blue flower way down underground, just completely randomly with no prompting. And I just thought to myself, this character is going to take this flower and he's going to make it his symbol. This is going to be the sign of hope that he's going to escape, and that humanity is going to come back from under the thumb of the bots. And I decided this was a good place to end this episode. And on we go into episode 9. The first portion of episode 9 is pretty straightforward. It's just continuing to find those diamonds, and then get out of the cave and continue on the way to the coordinates where his ship is. Where his ship is on top of the dome, or at least where he thinks his ship should be on top of the dome. And when he gets close, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how am I going to describe this so that the audience knows exactly what's going on? Because just standing below and looking up, obviously you wouldn't see the ship up on the top of the dome because the ship has been towed away. So he's coming up with sort of a justification in his mind. He actually knows it's not going to be there anymore, or chances are high that it's not going to be there. But he's thinking, if I can just get close to the top of the dome, I'll be able to see a glimpse of it. If I can't see it from the inside because of whatever material the dome is made out of, it's blocking out the stars and space, then if I can look through, the cracks in the dome, or the patched crack, or if I can just crack it a little bit, I'll see my ship up there. Of course, the salvage bot had earlier come and took the shuttle. You don't know that yet at this point in the story. And he basically starts pillaring up. And there's basically a trap here for him, because the sanctuary bots know that he's going to be going for his ship based on the fact that they can just kind of monitor everything in the sanctuary. And so the funny thing is, deep under the ground here, I've got a player detector that detects when you get to a certain block height. And the first time I went up, I think I pillared up too fast. The first time I shot the scene, because the guests didn't spawn. And so then as I was coming down to kind of reshoot the scene, I double checked underground. All the redstone was there. And then I go up again, and I'm thinking to myself, these guests are going to knock me off, and I'm going to get hit. So placing the water at the bottom was a predetermined act on my part. out of character. In character, I think I hit it pretty well, and it all turned out good. I did have to take a second take, and then the second time I was going up the pole, I actually was thinking, oh shoot, the ghasts are going to spawn again. I forgot that I had made it a one-time redstone underground. So anyway, that turned out to work fairly well. And as I got about halfway up, you look up and you can see the crack in the sky. And the image of the crack in the sky is actually something that I've had in mind since I first conceived this, seeing the crack in the dome where the maintenance bots are still working on closing it off. I don't, for whatever reason, I just think that that image is very powerful. And so then we get to the point where he's getting up to the top, and as I'm going up, I'm wondering if anybody's going to recognize the landscape below, because this is the exact point that you see at the very beginning of episode 0 of this series. How did they... Wait a minute. Okay, let's think about this logically. If the bots have had long enough, there's no ship. Where's my ship? Shit! Alright, episode 10. This is probably my favorite intro to any of the episodes in this series because it goes a total 180 degrees and introduces you to new characters that you had not seen yet. This is the inside of a bot ship. This is the first, well, this is the strongest connection to my custom map Minecraft Mars mission. And this is where 2 days ago or a few days ago, this bot is out in space and gets the salvage contract to come and steal the shuttle. And so he kind of accepts the bid, and he gets into his exoskeleton, which is a testificate, and the bot kind of suctions himself into the middle of the testificate, which I just thought was hilarious. And the little ender crystal bouncing up and down is Bit. That is a throwback to the movie Tron, where the yes/no bits are in the recognizers and in the tanks and help Flynn out. There's a Mars mission shuttle that he's inspecting, and the bot inside the testificate exoskeleton reminds me of Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was really proud of that idea. I was also really proud of this part here, seeing the tractor beams below the bot ship carrying the shuttle. Those are beacons, and I had to do some clever camera work to make it look right. But they're all practical effects, no special effects here. And I did forget to press F8 to smooth camera flight there, but no big deal. So this is where the bot gets the torpedoes and he gets the decryption algorithm. He beams it back up to the bot shuttle, not really knowing what he has. And then we switch back to Cousteau, who is discovered 2 days later that his ship is missing. And at this point, he decides, Cousteau that is, decides to go back to the cloning chamber because he believes there should be another shuttle bay on the other side of the cloning chamber. And he believes that that is where his shuttle is likely being towed to. So this is the point where he is basically following the track of the clone who has come this way a couple times now. And he sees the pumpkin with the cobblestone hat on it. And to me, this surprised me because I totally forgot placing that cobblestone there. And it totally gave the character of the Cousteau a moment where he paused and he got a sense of humanity from the clone itself, and he puts the pumpkin back because it looks like a guy with a Russian hat on. And this is also the part where the Cousteau sees that the clone was traveling across the treetops, and he realizes that the clone may have been a bit bumbling, but he actually had some pretty practical, good ideas. And without really knowing it, the Cousteau kind of learns a lesson here, and his respect for the life form of the clone actually grows. I think it comes across okay in the film itself, but playing the character and again not having a script and just kind of living this part, I really felt for the character at this moment. So I hope if it didn't come across that you guys kind of understand how powerful this series was to me, playing these characters and just really getting into their heads. Alright, so he continues on, and once more we have a character looking for spawn, can't quite find it, although luckily Knight helps the Cousteau out, where the clone was unable to do it. And I actually realized at this point here that I had forgotten to look in some of the computer screens. I had put some sort of Easter eggs. I put some. I basically put some things in the command blocks that were supposed to help tell the story that I wasn't going to say out loud. And I had already covered it at this point. So what I decided instead to do is insert a map into the video, because I didn't spend quite enough time on this map earlier in the series when it was hanging on the wall of the first outpost. And I was kind of hoping that somebody would screen capture this or pause and try to decipher the symbols on this, because you can actually do a simple substitution cipher and you can read what all of these things are. These coordinates are actually accurate coordinates built into the map. This is actually a picture of the map using an external tool. And you can kind of see the wall around it. I'll just quickly note that the top, the northeasternmost set of coordinates, 947, 46, negative 51, 34, that's the shuttle bay. That's underwater. That's all the way up in the northwest. The sort of the next coordinates down on the left there, 498, 102, that is an Easter egg. 487, 64, negative 23, 64, that's spawn. 476, 72, 1976, that's kind of the lowest green coordinates. That is the outpost where he pressed all the buttons, etc. And then the red coordinates down at the bottom, that's where the shuttle crashed. So you can see it's about 5,000 blocks from where the shuttle crashed up to the shuttle bay. It's about half that distance to spawn, a little less than half the distance from where the shuttle originally broke through the dome to spawn. And I had walked that path a couple times. And then on the far right of the screen, 884, 77, negative 1038, there is another Easter egg hidden in this map. And this is actually a tribute to Jahzzar and Ghost Vortex, who helped me build, or basically built, the shuttle bay for me. So there's something hidden at that coordinate for them. And if I ever make the map available to the public, I was kind of hoping that'd be a nice Easter egg. Kind of disappointed that no one has asked for the map to be made public, I'll be honest with you. Okay, so at this point, he gets back into the cloning chamber and makes his way through. Once again, I am disappointed that I couldn't get more mobs to spawn in this area. I actually put spawners underneath the platform to try to encourage that. It didn't quite work out the way I wanted, but there was enough combat that I figured I left it in. I actually probably filmed a couple of these walking through the cloning chamber sequences 3-4 times, trying to get more and more mobs to spawn. But I think the ender frames are just a little too bright for the walkway. So he gets to the end, and I think this is a really cool visual. These like stained glass bridges that I have here, they look sort of ethereal, like almost like laser bridges. I was kind of picturing laser bridges from Tron. And he gets to this point. Now this is kind of funny. Actually, I'll mention this in the next episode. But he looks through these chests, and he actually comments. He actually comments on what is in these chests, and there's a nice symmetry between what happens here and what happens when the clone looks in the chests. And also that bottom chest that he looked in, I tried to make that look like Space Invaders, but it doesn't quite look like Space Invaders. So he drops off some items in there, just trying to clean out his inventory again. This is unscripted. I actually had originally planned to have armor and weapons in there, and then I realized, why would the bots have armor and weapons? So once again, we have another exploding door, and he actually comments on it, and he heads to the shuttle bay. End of episode 10.